Greetings, Captains, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates PostMission. I am Lieutenant Commander Tyrek of the light cruiser USS Fokker as we continue peacekeeping operations against the Romulan Star Empire, and last time we attacked a Romulan convoy that was shipping guns secretly to people in the neutral zone. That sort of smuggling has no place in a peaceful society, and we put a quick end to it, capturing the territory of 19-9 with our influence. And we are at 1,779 prestige. We are so very close to being able to afford that golden heavy cruiser that we want. So let us, without further ado, set out into space to grab as much prestige as we may. And it's another convoy raid. Again, not super psyched about convoy raids. I get a little bit concerned whenever we go on them, mainly because in order to accomplish them, we have to kill the whole convoy. We are but one ship, and most of the time the convoys are carting around, armored freighters like this one here. As you can see, the heavy armor. Although this is a nice weak freighter, easy to smash into and destroy. So we've got two freighters, sort of at long distance. We are sort of in an intercept position, but it's the far intercept position. So it's going to take a little bit before we can get on top of the enemy. So let's pick up the pace a little bit, push the engines to the maximum value we can. It is a Romulan group, so we're actually going to drop 1 point of speed. So we can come over here to shuttle conversion and set up a Wild Weasel. We can convert one Wild Weasel at a time, and we're probably going to convert both of them just to make sure that we have everything needed. We have finished charging the phaser capacitor, so more power from the engines into the actual system itself. And it's a heavy cruiser. Ooh, are you a War Eagle? Let's check you out. According to the fleet screen, you are an FAL. Don't know what that is then. Let's send a probe, find out exactly what it is we're dealing with. We need to know. That's very critical. So probe soaring out in there. It's going to take it a little while to get there. Hopefully before that happens, we'll be able to get in amongst all these freighters and wipe some of them out. Quickly pop over here. Make sure we get a good reading of his stats before we turn away. Oh, okay. This is a Mauler. So Maulers are fantastically fun weapons. I do think that the Mauler was invented by the Romulans, if I'm remembering my information correctly. Basically, the Mauler is not so much of a ship-mounted heavy weapon. It's a heavy weapon with a ship mounted onto it. The entire vessel is rigged to act as a Mauler, and it has one gigantic cannon which is tied directly into the main engine systems of the vessel itself. When a Mauler gets into play, you can quite literally one-shot frigates, destroyers, and certain light cruisers with a little bit of luck. And we did that back in our Lyran campaign, where we pretty constantly used Maulers to get around the fact that the Lyrans have some problems. Oh goodness, this is a Q-ship. I'm looking at two Q-ships, both armed with 2 plasma torpedoes. This is gonna get ugly. Prepare to fire all weapons. Let's get point-blank range and go for the kill. And didn't kill him, only managed to deal 21 points of damage. He does have those plasma torpedoes ready to go on a moment's notice, and holy crap, they're stern firing. Drop speed. Those are stern firing plasma torpedoes, and we have another Q-ship ready to come on in addition to this Mauler, which is really well positioned actually to one-shot us. Hopefully he'll fire this Mauler from maximum range and we won't die. I'm not kidding when I say this weapon can one-shot an older light cruiser like this. Especially now that one of our shields is down. Holy crap. We have taken a whole bunch of shocking damage. Let's get the repair teams going on that one. And really, do we want to hang around for this party? I don't think so. That's the Mauler! Oh god, that's the Mauler. You're a light freighter. I'm going to double mine run on top of you. See if that messes with your pathfinding at all. Yeah, this is a convoy raid we do not want to be in. The Mauler is... he's not... as a singleton ship, he's not going to be insanely powerful unless he can bring that bow around, because it is a fairly narrow arc that he can fire from. But geez, we are just getting picked apart from all sides here. Both photon torpedoes are down. The phasers are down. Let's get the hell out of here. So let's kick on the engines and just go, because there is no point in trying to hang around with these people. I mean, we're just getting absolutely shot to pieces. All this phaser fire is just cutting right through us. For the sake of attempting to salvage some prestige out of this, I'm going to try and gun run this freighter, but we are just in a bad way. Phaser capacitor, there's the Mauler again. It needs time for the batteries to charge, but still, oh, it's painful. Marines, capture? No, wouldn't be able to do it. We're down to half our weapon systems at this point, and just having a bad day. So let's get out of here. Yep, he's just... every single shot seems to be just knifing through our shields. And we don't really have much in defense. How many Q-ships are here? it's not a whole lot of Q-ships. It's the 2 Q-ships and the heavy cruiser. And then the armored freighters, which are always frustrating to try and deal with. He has turned off to try and do his little circle around maneuver to avoid, the mine that we just dumped in his face. But things are not happening well here. I do need to try and kill at least one of these freighters. Like, if we need the prestige desperately. First of all, to repair the ship, but also because we're looking at trying to buy a heavy cruiser shortly, and this is a rough situation to be in. And the Mauler just punches through again. Oh, the pain. Knocked out. Our phasers are currently on stun. Let's pass on through, and I think we just gotta... I keep saying it, but I don't want to run. We should be able to take this guy out before all hell breaks loose, and it's just not happening as well as I'd like. Now, that Mauler may not seem like it's doing a ton of damage, and to be fair, it's not. The way that he's using that Mauler is incredibly inefficient, because what the Mauler does is it charges your battery. Now, on most ships, you're only going to have, like, 4 points of energy in the battery. There we go, we got one. I think we can disengage safely now. Drop a mine, let's pull out of here. Full energy. Into the engines. We're just going to bail. Where was I? Oh, yeah. On most ships, you're not going to have a whole lot of battery power. You'll have 2 to 4 to 6, sometimes as much as 9 points of battery power. But a Mauler is going to have something in the neighborhood of 42. Because the Mauler charges its entire weapon systems off the battery. It's kind of like the phaser capacitor, but it can also run the whole ship if you need it. So the more energy in the battery, the more power that Mauler will dish out. And it can deal an absolute metric ton of damage. We're going to switch to yellow alert here. That way we get the most amount of speed out of this ship. We're also going to come into here to electronic warfare and give ourselves a little bit of electronic countermeasure. That way we can try and pull away without dying. And just look at the damage to the front of the ship. The Mauler has managed to rip pieces off of us. It's not good. Yeah, we really got to leave. Because we might be able to circle back around into the convoy, but I wouldn't be super confident of that. We don't have a whole lot of repair parts. Oh, it's going to be expensive to repair all this. So let's just, yeah, we're going to run. It would be nice to have gotten more out of that convoy, but honestly, we didn't make the approach as properly as we should have, and therefore got too involved in trying to fight, the Q ships, which we didn't need to fight, but we ended up fighting. So yeah, the Mauler, the more power you have in the battery, the more damage it does. The closer you are to your opponent, the more damage it does. And I think it goes up to double damage at a range of about 5. And you can dish out like 96 damage with a Mauler. Like, that is 100% possible. So you get frigates and light cruisers like that, and you can literally gut them in one shot. So normally we can dance around them, play with them a bit more, and had this convoy only been defended by the Mauler, I would have felt 100% confident in going into it. However, there was still a second Q-ship there with 2 plasma torpedoes. We had used up one of our shuttles, and we had taken quite a bit of damage. Well, at least it wasn't a devastating defeat, so we didn't lose any prestige by doing that. But, they did take the tile because they were able to get the weapons to their compatriots. Things are not looking up for us. 84 points need to be spent into that, and I think we just need to go out and do a mission because we need to get that prestige back. And it looks like we've got an Enigma mission, which should be pretty decent. Enigmas tend to be pretty nice combat patrols to go on. So hit that red alert, and there's a frigate. It's a Gorn frigate just sitting out there in the middle of space, and according to the transporter rooms, it has nothing on board, so we can ignore it. Alright. So the Enigma mission, relatively simple mission. There is a random ship that is spawned right in the middle of the map. It tends to have medical supplies or dilithium crystals on board, which you can beam over to get 50 bonus prestige at the end of the mission. This one, however, has nothing, so we can just ignore it entirely. Now, the other thing about the Enigma mission is there will be another enemy ship will spawn somewhere over here, and when he does, he is completely target fixated. It's a small problem with the AI. Yep, it's a heavy cruiser. Great. That's not wonderful. CVL-2, so he's a fighter carrier. Even worse. And the thing about the Enigma mission, we're gonna come over here, overload these photon torpedoes. Just do it. We're gonna try and get as much power as we can into him. Anyway, so the fun thing about the Enigma mission is the AI gets a little bit frazzled, and when you start in this spawn, which is the most common spawn, and they start in that spawn, the enemy is 100% focused on this ship. He will shoot at it, ignoring everything else, up until the point where you're going to have Romulan vessels. If we get a Romulan Enigma mission, they will fire all of their plasma torpedoes into this destroyer. which makes the Enigma mission a pretty decent mission to try and, like, score some easy points on. However, this is a heavy cruiser, and while, yes, we are going to be gunning for maximum amount of damage here, this is still going to be a difficult thing to do. Also, he is charging 4 points of power into his electronic countermeasures, and we're going to have to get right on top of him to be accurate at all. Okay, he's starting to drop on power, so it looks like he fired his phaser capacitor. He doesn't have the energy to charge the CCM anymore, which is wonderful from our perspective. Hopefully that'll drop all the way to 0. So we're just going to get right on top of him, and I'm going to hit him like a truck. We're going to be overloading these photon torpedoes as the most amount of damage that we can do. Let's get 2 points of electronic countermeasure going on. Start to slow down, because I'm going to need shield defense in the forward systems. All weapons select, get ready to hit. Wait for that attack shift to go away. And it's not there yet, and we fired and got both hits. Nice. So twin overloaded photon torpedoes just slammed on into him. Along with all our firepower, we knocked out his forward shield, did 37 points of damage right on through. Set the photon torpedoes back to normal mode. That way we can actually charge and hunt things. Unfortunately, he's keeping that electronic countermeasure going. How many points did you charge in? He's back up to 4. Holy crap. So let's chase him on this. And hopefully we can kill him before his fighters get back. That's the main goal at this point. Because his fighters, they didn't kill it in one go. But there is a timer currently running. The mission is currently counting down to blow that ship up. Its warp core is unstable, and the whole thing is just going to fry itself. So, managed to cause more damage. We took out the shuttle bay, which means if we start knocking out fighters and the fighters return home, they won't be able to do anything. He did kick off a high energy turn, but he didn't do anything with it. The AI likes to do that on occasion. Not sure why. He's down to a speed of 8, although that may just be him cruising. And he's not firing any of his weapons at us, although that could change very quickly. Pick up the speed. Got to stay on his stern. He has, as you can see, a pretty considerable amount of firepower. First of all, he's got 4 missile launchers, which is not going to be fun. Photon torpedoes as soon as you got them. 1 photon torpedo, 2 photon torpedoes, and I'm going to follow up with all the phasers. Yes, it's kind of stupid. We have no defense right now, but we need to cause damage. Holy crap, he stopped. He's launched his missile salvo. Okay, we're still just behind him. And there it goes. The timer has gone off. The enemy now will shoot at us. So, not good. Fighters are now back on their way towards us, which is very not good. And he's still alive, which also not good. Let's pick up the pace. We got to get moving. We got to get away from these fighters and dump a mine. We need to get away from this mine because I want these fighters to run into the mine. Unfortunately, this is not... the fighters are turning. They're turning. The fighters are only equipped with a phaser 3, so they can't go after us. Oh, we got him. Oh, wow. As I was about to say, the fighters that 90% of the ships are equipped with, they're only armed with phaser 3s, so that means they've got a maximum range of 3. So if we keep them outside that range by dumping a mine like that, we can survive. I was not expecting that to go off as well, but we are at 2017 prestige. It's last year, people. And let's come back on here. Shipyard, you know what we want. It's not a destroyer. Absolutely not. There it is. I'm just going to quickly check through, make sure there's nothing else. Yeah, that's what we want. A brand new Federation CC+. Where did it go? I just missed it. I'm no longer seeing it, but it should be. There it is. Bye. Thank you. The USS Richmond. And we're going to sell the Fokker. The Fokker was a wonderful ship. It served us well. It got us into a lot of fights. It took us out of a lot of fights. But I'm going to keep it down to a single ship for now. So we shall say adieu to the USS Fokker. Auf Wiedersehen. And we're now in the USS Richmond, which is equipped with missiles, which are a pretty interesting choice. So let's go and we'll pick up maximum reloads. Currently, because it's the early era, only the slow drive missile system is available. So they're not going to be the most effective missiles in the universe, but they're still going to be missiles. So we're going to max out the shuttles. We're going to come over here. We're going to stick to this heavy cruiser probably for a while. I like heavy cruisers. Heavy cruisers are solid choices. And it's a CC+, which means it should be pretty powerful. So we're going to max out pretty much everything. We are going to spend a lot of cash. Basically, we sold the Fokker so we could buy all the stuff on the Richmond. And we are kitted and ready to rock. I'm not going to do a convoy escort. We're going to set back out into space in this contested zone and a holding action, which is some kind of combat patrol. Normally it would say patrol, I believe. So, oh no, it's the listening post mission. So let's battle stations, red alert, and check to see what we're fighting. We've got an enemy heavy cruiser and an enemy heavy cruiser. Okay, so we've got 2 heavy cruisers, a K7R and probably another K7. Yeah, 2 K7Rs. These are Romulan heavy cruisers based on the K7 design, which is a fantastic design, by the way, and it's kind of painful to have to fight. And they should be equipped with a pretty decent plasma torpedo weaponry. Our maximum speed in our brand new heavy cruiser is about 13, but we are today also escorted by Not the listening post, but the GCS Death Beast. Ah, yes, once again, the Gorn with their wonderful names for heavy cruisers. And as you can see, we are the absolutely beautiful, the most gorgeous, the 100% superior to every other look of ship design in Star Trek. I will stand on that. The Constitution class refit. Oh, 100% do I believe the Constitution refit is the most gorgeous Star Trek vessel in all of Star Trek. It is just beautiful. And with improved textures, thanks to the Orion Pirates Plus and a whole bunch of other mods. Yes, Orion Pirates Plus uses an improved texture and model for most of this stuff, and so we can enjoy the look of, well, it says it's 1701. It's not, because we did not get the Enterprise. I was a little bit sort of hoping we would get the Enterprise, but I didn't figure we would. Let's prep a scatter pack and a Wow Weasel. Should have done this earlier, but we kind of forgot. If everything goes to heck, we can try and get around these heavy cruisers and sprint for the listening post. We don't have to engage it. Photon torpedoes are ready to go, and you are within range. So let's quickly set up our weapon system. So the 2 photon torpedoes are on 2, and then all of these will set up on 1. So photon torpedoes not yet in range. I guess we'll have to close to about 50. Photons to proximity mode, and 4 photon. Oh, just 2 more. And that'll be no hits. Oh, because we're shooting into attack shift of 2. What the heck, game? Seriously, they are really emphasizing that attack shift. Not that I can blame them. It's a good idea, especially against Federation vessels. Once our photon torpedoes are, well, nullified by that, it's really painful to try and kill anything. Wow, they are equipped with 4 plasma torpedoes each. That's going to be tough. We're going to have to avoid that as best as we can. We'll have a scatter pack ready shortly. And we will, of course, prep a second Wild Weasel as well. How many missiles do I have on board completely? Are you shooting at me? No, he's shooting at the Death Beast, who has been caught in a pincer movement. The Death Beast does indeed have a Wild Weasel, and he dumped it. And his plasma torpedoes will not impact because that was a fake one. So prep another Wild Weasel, and we're just going to steadily come on in here. Photon torpedoes are still a charging. However, we are putting out enough energy to stop them from being able to do any funny business. Pick up the speed just a little bit. We want to get there soon enough to save the Death Beast. And both of these ships are cloaked. They are skulking around under cover. We don't have a shot, and I really don't want to take it at them. Although, it might not be a terrible idea. I'm not sure how cloak affects the electronic countermeasures. And what is that? Who dreamt that? None of you have scatter. Oh, it's the Wild Weasel. It's your old Wild Weasel that you already used. As you can see, they have glass rear shields because they are still Klingon designs. And I'm going to set photon torpedoes back to normal mode. And I'm also going to do a counter beam because I'm a little bit worried about it. I think if we get right on top of you, I can bore through one of your shields. Let's get good scans on these guys. Slow down a little bit. Yeah, they don't have anything just yet. Forward shield is being buffed. Unfortunately, he's decloaking. So, all phasers. Fire to him. Photon torpedoes, not going to waste it. I'm not going to waste photon torpedoes. They take too long to charge, and so we're not going to spend that. That's real. It was real, but the stern shield has enough power in order to take that. Can I get over the shoulder shots at all? Yeah, we got one over the shoulder shot through, and we're able to spread this out a bit. So he managed to hit 2 of our rear shields, but it didn't do as much damage as I think he probably hoped it would. And he's lost a shield, which puts us in a relatively good position. I do want to probably kick out a high energy turn sometime soon, or if I... Yeah, let's kick it out now. High energy maneuvers. We got to pull this around right now because he's about to fire at us. Pull around, pull around, pull around, and he decided to fire on the Death Beast instead. Oh, all 4 photon torpedoes hit their target. And we managed to bounce 1 plasma F torpedo off our forward port shields. They are still holding. Unfortunately, we're about to... Oh, no, we didn't quite lose the shield to a mine. Taking a little bit of fire from him. He does have a G-type plasma torpedo. It's on the other side of the ship. It will be ready shortly, so we do need to get around. Stern shields have collapsed. However, we are still in a relatively good position as we're pulling those stern shields away. The rear phaser has dropped, and we've got a little bit of engine damage that we're going to work to repair. Don't have any photon torpedoes yet, but one of the things the Federations have in spades is phasers, and we're about to have a great phaser shot right down the neck, right hitting him there. And we still have the starboard side weapons. Missile launcher, please. Let's get him involved, and we're going to drop a Wild Weasel. Stopped just in time to duck underneath it. It'll also pull him out in front of us, which will put us in a relatively nice position. We do have 1 starboard phaser ready to shoot at this time. We do need to set you up on hard point number 3. Forward port shields have collapsed, but I'm not too worried about that just yet. We're about to have 2 photon torpedoes ready to go and a weakened shield to put them into, so let's open fire right there. Knock down the shield. Photon torpedo comes online right about now. Point blank range, so we did take a little bit of splashback damage from that, but it did knock down his shield, caused 28 damage on through, and we're seeing a whole bunch of cascading system failures as the rest of the phasers get involved. He's coming out of cloak, though. He does have an F-type plasma torpedo ready to go. Do I have... Oh, I don't have a Wild Weasel. Let's put him under cover. Oh, I do have a Wild Weasel. Put him under cover. He's going to want to freak out from that one, assuming it fires before he turns around enough, which is a question. He did fire his plasma torpedo. I'm not going to block it. I'm just going to take it through the armor. And wow, we got a nice big hit on the Jane Hart. And we're going to come around. Let's make sure we stay on other repairs. The Constitution class, a little bit fragile. Not incredibly so, but weak enough. Photon torpedo didn't quite hit its target. We are, however, following up with missiles and phaser salvos. And another phaser 3 blast. Let's turn off the... no, let's just overrun them right through. This missile might, and it did. Missile took him out completely. So in a commanding position, most certainly. As we come around to starboard, we are currently exposing a weakened shield to him. So let's pick up the pace just a little bit so that we can try and get this around a little bit faster. We are just wading into this fight. He's coming out of cloak. So as soon as you've got something to shoot at him, just pour everything into him. 2 photon torpedoes fired out. 1 got hit. And he went back into cloak. All right, that's fine with me. Power more phaser fire into him. And looks like his plasma torpedo is going to get on through. I'm going to slow down. Oh, he's coming out of cloak. Everything we've got into him. Missiles, phasers, everything. And he's going to hold on to that one. We've got another decoy shuttle ready should we need it. And I am going to hold on to it for a little while. Don't think we will. We are on the starboard side of his ship. We've knocked out all of his starboard side plasma torpedoes. His port side ones are available. He's fixing one, but his G-type is still charging. So we should be in a relatively good position for now. Forward shields are holding. However, that may change if he keeps doing that. Phasers, we're going to follow up with a nice little barrage right into that weak stern. We know for a fact that the Klingons have a very exposed and weak warp core when fired at from behind. I'm not going to fire the photon torpedoes on this. I don't want to take the splashback damage from it. However, the phasers will do just fine. So we have managed to take out the enemy. Let's find our last target. There's the listening post that we're going to head to. And no other enemies in the area, so set green alert and kick on the speed. We shall now just soar to our target, and looking darn good while we do it. So come completely around maximum speed of time as we'll accelerate on up to 31 points of speed to get on top of that listening post to find out whatever information the enemy was hiding from us. I'm sure they were hiding something. We just need to figure it out. But yeah, getting into fleet actions in a heavy cruiser is a lot of fun. We are... I don't want to say we're super tough, because we're not. We're a heavy cruiser, but we have a nice flexibility. We basically double our photon torpedo firepower, which is pretty decent. Having 4 photon torpedoes means we can really pour on the fire. I mean, 4 photon torpedoes. We can deal... Oh, we can deal 36... Or is it 36? Or 32 damage. Just with normal photon torpedoes, but if we overload that, 64. That's some fun firepower right there. Let's just check to make sure that we are heading off the map in the most expeditious way possible. We are, so we'll just soar on through. As the USS Richmond has completed its first operation against the Romulans, managing to sneak into their most hidden areas and steal from their listening posts. Or maybe we're recovering information from our own listening post. You'll have to decide that one in the comments. So jump out into warp. And we'll slow down the speed of time, make sure the clock is reset for when we actually get back into battle. Otherwise, the game actually it'll remember what speed you're at, and then, you know, you'll be zipping around massively when you're trying to set everything up at the beginning. It's not great. See how much prestige that one was worth. Hopefully a decent amount. We do need to, after all, restock and repair the ship. 350 is wonderfully. Apparently the Romulans are planning an ambush soon, and we've managed to secure control over the sector of 1811. Our operations now operate safely. So a little bit of repair. 1 Marine who was apparently in the wrong place at the wrong time. Also patch up the number of spare parts, and 2 shuttles, which we will have to keep very much on top of. If you don't have shuttles, all hell breaks loose. And it looks like there is a brand new engine technology. We have made it up to the medium era, I guess. And that'll afford us light missiles, of which we only have 10. Wow. Oh yeah, I suppose we only have 1 launcher. That actually makes sense. So, yeah, pushing on then. Continue to put the pressure on the Romulans. And there is a diplomatic action or a fleet action. We're going to take the fleet action. Diplomat pays better and is safer, but Come on, we just got ourselves a brand new command cruiser. Let's command a fleet. And well, I guess we're not commanding this fleet. We have the GCS Predatoricon, which is an early era dreadnought. Although, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, this is a pretty pathetic dreadnought. This is 4 plasma torpedoes of the G variety. That's really bad for a dreadnought. Wow. Hopefully we don't have to fight anything too big. Immediately, let's not forget we're going to do one of these and one of these. So a scatter pack, just in case we manage to get a good angle on something, and a wild weasel, so we can stop the enemy from being effective against us. We'll prep probably 2 more wild weasels after this. So we are looking at an attack shift, so we do have to make sure we keep on top of that. We'll go the 4 and the 2. Keep a much more aggressive setup, as we are going to be fighting at long range probably. And we'll pick up the speed of the systems, and we'll pick up the speed of the ship. So about 15 will keep us in a relatively nice area. Want to be faster when we actually get in amongst the enemies, but we're not there yet. And there they are. It is an OAR, a light cruiser. I assume more vessels will show up, and I assume they will be heavy cruiser or larger, but we are currently engaged in anti-piracy operations. We have moved into this territory and secured it from Romulan control. However, the Romulans are quite clearly paying the pirate faction in the area, trying to make sure that they can keep us on the back foot as they flood the area with privateers. So us and the Predatoricon have been moved into this sector in order to provide protection and security. And boy, have we found something interesting. We're going to send a probe off his way, make sure we get a good identification on exactly what we're engaging. And it looks like another vessel, 2 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser. We brought the dreadnought, but it's not a very good dreadnought. So let's find out exactly what we're dealing with here. This heavy cruiser is probably an HB... Oh, no, it's not an HBR. So we've got a heavy raider is equipped with 2 photon torpedoes and 2 missile launchers, and he is a carrier of some description. So we're going to want to keep it somewhat at range. He should have no trouble with this at all, despite the fact that he's really weak on plasma torpedoes. I mean, just 4 Gs is pathetic. But despite that fact, he should be able to do relatively well here. Now, we, on the other hand, are going to select our photon torpedoes. We're going to select them into proximity mode. We are countering their jamming, of which they're not actually putting out any. And as soon as we can, I do want to engage from long range with photon torpedoes, just as he is now. He has actually managed to hit the Predatoricon, but the Predatoricon has not managed to do much to this OAR. The Deathwing has just dropped all speed, and that wasted the entirety of his plasma torpedo barrage. Let's get in here, let's keep this heavy raider on the back foot and engage with photon torpedoes. So 4 photon torpedoes soaring on out there, heading towards the target, and gunnery reports 2 hits, 50%. Not bad, group. Another decoy shuttle ready. We're going to prep a 3rd decoy shuttle. He's got plasma torpedoes. As you can see, he's just spit them out against the Predatoricon, who has collapsing shields. Oh, old era dreadnoughts are not very good. However, the missiles are, of course, a problem. Also, we don't have enough of these to... Well, we don't have enough missiles to make a whole ton of them. We're going to continue to just come along from the stern. That's probably where our heavy cruiser is going to do the best work. Make sure that we don't go too fast. After all, we do need to continue to charge these photon torpedoes for a long-range bombardment. However, the Predatoricon is going to have a hard time with this. Hopefully, he'll do well enough to survive. Missiles, oh, that's going to be a scatter pack, I'm sure of it. That's going to be a lot of missiles coming in for the Predatoricon. And unless it was his old wild... Nope, there's a scatter pack. That's what we were expecting. Incoming fighters hitting his forward shield. Oh, no, they're going to hit this shield. It's a concentrated assault, to be sure. Unfortunately, apparently they weren't ready for it. Predatoricon losing his shields. He's a sitting duck and vulnerable. Mr. Tambourine Man is our target. Looks like tractor beams were failing on the Predatoricon. So let's engage from long range. Photon torpedoes. 4 more shots. Soaring on out there. Got 1 hit. Not good job, gunnery. Okay, we've got all of our wild weasels ready at this point. So at this, we're just heading on in now. Set the photon torpedoes, I guess, to normal by the time we make it. We really got to pick up the pace and get in there, but I really want to make sure I've got photon torpedoes ready by the time we do. Unfortunately, the Predatoricon is just a... Oh, he is in a bad way. He's lost most every single system he's got. I mean, look at this. He's mauled. He's a dreadnought, and he's just absolutely gutted. Yep, it's us versus 3. This is not going to be good. We got long-range incoming phaser fire coming towards us. So let's turn off a little bit. I think we're going to have to play this one smart, and that means get the distance going. There's no way we can fight them at close range. We've got to fight them definitely from a distance. And they are putting out a lot of ECM. So this heavy raider is who we've been focusing on. However, we can put him to our stern and run away. We are doing fast enough of a speed. Unfortunately, they are going to pick up the pace and get in amongst us. It might be a good idea just to cut and run on this one. How much power to the stern shield? Let's... Yeah. He's still hitting us from long range, despite the fact that, you know, he fired a contact. Did he fire a... No, it was a... Definitely for sure it was a... It was not the contact time, it was proximity. Let's fire a missile, see what we got out of his defenses. I'm not seeing the fighters. I don't know if the Predatoricon took them out or not. Hopefully so. Nope, no, there they are. They were hidden in the shadow, and they have point defense systems. Oh, this is going to be hard. I think I want to go for a fast pass here, but I'm not sure it'll pull off. Forward shield to the reinforcement, taking a little bit of hits here. We're going to get right on top of him, Mr. Tambourine Man. And double Wild Weasel. And that's why we dumped the Wild Weasel. We've got a lot of incoming fire, and luckily we also have a pretty good defense shift right now. So all those fighters going through, and let's pour even more fire into Mr. Tambourine Man, who's my primary target. I'd like to fire a missile if you have any. No, we'll fire the missile fighter. Try and spread it out a little bit. I need to get some firepower on them before they can get any decent damage hits. And phasers are still cycling. Let's get a mine out here. Be all prepared for that. Our stern shields are not doing well. Pour the fire into the blackjack there. Managed to plink him a little bit. Need to get our distance going on here. Forward weapons are ready to go. And if the Tambourine Man continues to come in this direction, we'll be able to hit him. Unfortunately, we're starting to lose systems. This may be another circumstances of getting in over our head. We might be able to run away. So pump out a missile into him. Come on, fire that missile. Apparently the missile does not wish to fire. So all phaser weapons bore into his stern. Federation firing pass wasn't able to pull it off. Why will the missile not fire? Are we just too close to him? That does happen on occasion. Drop another mine, pull the distance out. Yeah, we're facing away from him, but it's the price of business here. So soaring out around here, keep the engine repair going. We are down a little bit of power here, and these fighters are incoming. That's a problem. Don't really have enough phasers to do as much damage as I need to. Pump in the phaser firepower. We've managed to take out 2 of them, so he's down to 1. Port side phasers, I got any? I don't actually have any port side phasers. Incoming plasma torpedo. And we're going to have to take it on this shield. Oh, it's a bad hit. So let's come to port, dump into the mine, and keep rolling on. Pick up the speed. We need to just get out of here. Yep, it's running time for sure. Drop the weapon systems. We're not sticking around here. And is that real? Tell me true. It's real. It's very real. So we're just going to have to rush up to speed as soon as we can. Try and come around a little bit. Just drag out the distance. Okay, didn't do as much damage as I was worrying about. Let's keep the repairs going. We need to make sure that works out as well as we can. More power to the engines. We just need to run. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it up to maximum speed, which is a bit of a problem. So continuing to rush away from the CVL. So once again, finding ourselves in a situation where discretion is the better part of valor. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't think if we had stayed close to the Predatoricon, whatever it's called, I don't think that would have been much of a solution. I think we still probably would have lost it. Simply because, well, he was an elderly dreadnought and not very well equipped. So let's see if we can't get up to a high enough speed to fully run away from these guys. We've managed to deal some damage, but losing a dreadnought, it's not great. Can't go the speed of time to the maximum. We are just pulling away at this point. So they will fire their long-range fire, but hopefully not be able to bust through the shields. What little shields there are at this point. And where is the edge of the map? Oh, it's right there. Wonderful. So we'll just zip on off here. So not the finest hour for the Richmond, but we did escape from this with our very lives. And I don't think we could have done the long-range trick because there were simply too many vessels to try and pull that one off. So mission incomplete to be sure, but we are alive, and that's the important thing. We cannot afford to lose vessels to the Romulans at this point, or to the Romulans' allies. So, unfortunately, because of that, the situation in this sector of 1811 has become far too dangerous for Transport Command to keep it fully in supplies. We no longer hold this position. We will have to return, and in greater numbers, soon. But that's going to do it for today's episode, folks. I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.